right. Welcome back, everybody. This is Patrick Higgins with Back to Birding.
And this is Luke Thompson. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, so we have had some very good fun this past week.
Yeah, we have. Christmas bird counts. It's the main topic today.
We both had some good luck, and
Patrick had significantly more good luck than me, but we both had good luck.
I will say that I had one of the best birding weekends of my life. So
Patrick outdid me significantly.
Well, I guess we'll hold off on mine till later then. So, Luke, tell me about your Christmas bird count.
Well, we can go and can we talk about this morning though?
I didn't do any birding this morning, so that's gonna be all you. What did you get?
So me and Tim decided to run down to Stevenson Park down in Alabama because Tim had not been there before, and so we drove down there, and there's a road that parallels the river on the way down. So we took that road down and distracted ourselves, and it took forever to get down there. So yeah, we got a lot of birds on the road. We got Savannah sparrow. Oh, actually the highlight probably of the day was we had a barred owl that I somehow spotted while driving sitting on the edge of the road, and we watched it catch a crayfish and eat it, which was really sick.
What?
Yeah.
A crayfish?
Yeah, Tim has pictures.
That is something I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we thought it was going to be a mouse. And
yeah, that'd be expected.
And no, it wasn't a mouse.
Where did it find one of those? It wasn't swimming around in the creek, I guess.
No, it was like it was just sitting on the edge of the road, and there was, I mean, honestly, we couldn't really even see the creek. There was just like some small little creek.
What in the world?
And some grass, and it was like looking around. We could tell it was looking for something. Then it dropped down, came back up, and we thought it was a mouse until we looked at the pictures. Turns out crayfish.
Well, goodness gracious, that is something that I've never ever heard of.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was cool.
So what was targets down there?
We didn't really have
any
specific targets. Hoping for something weird like a long spur, because there's a bunch of good fields for that. We didn't have any long spur or horned lark or some weird duck. But, just seeing, Tim had never been down there. He just wanted to check it out. There's some places that could have had LeConte sparrow, though we had no luck though. Unfortunately. But yeah.
Well, yeah, so how about this you did the Chattanooga CBC?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I honestly don't know. Is the Hiawassee CBC different?
Oh yeah, the Hiawassee is different.
Okay.
So the Chat CBC is essentially the first Saturday available to do a CBC every year, and then the Hiawassee CBC is on January 1st every year. The Hiawassee CBC should have more birds, but it doesn't because less people do it.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that about the Hiawassee area in general, is that it's critically underbirded.
Critically, in my opinion. You probably mostly heard that from me. It is critically underbirded. Like, I have seen lots and lots of good birds there. I mean, I have a checklist with prairie falcon and LeConte sparrow on it.
I have seen that checklist. That's unreal. Me and you have birded that once now.
Yeah.
Thoroughly. And we did not get either of those birds, but have prairie falcon in Tennessee alone, but
it was the 11th state record at the time, yeah.
Especially East Tennessee. Holy cow.
And Tim and I had 87 species there this fall.
And a new county record.
Short-eared owl.
Short-eared owl, yeah.
And golden eagle, you know, it has a lot of ducks, lots of sandhill cranes. So, yeah, it's a great place. I think Hiawassee is definitely one of the most underbirded areas in this area of the state. I mean, it's phenomenal, but
I'd say so. Wow.
Yeah, but for the Chat CBC.
Yeah. So how about The one you actually did.
The one I actually did. Yeah. So I slept in my car, and
As you should.
as you should, woke up at 3:30 in the morning, and drove down to Baylor. We went for some owls. We were hoping to get the owl sweep, get screech owl, great horned owl, and barred owl. So I was with this guy, young guy who just moved here from Idaho. His name is Austin, and we hopped out. We played some owl tape. So we ran through, screech owl, barred, and great horned. I was on my school's campus. I was at Baylor for pretty much the whole day, and yeah, we went and checked out all of this forested area, or the ones close to the car, because it was cold and we were feeling relatively lazy.
Yeah, sometimes that's the bad thing about the winter birding, is it's difficult to get out of the car.
Yeah. I mean, we walked like a half mile or more into the woods, but nothing too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And about 30 minutes in, we got 5 screech owls going at once.
At the same time?
Yeah. Well, we saw one fly in, and that one didn't even call. And then there were 2 calling straight in front of us, one up the hill, and then one way off to the side. It was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sometimes you get 5 in a day, kind of scattered, but
Yeah, 5 at
in
once.
the same place. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. And then we lucked into a great horned owl giving like a very half-hearted hoot on the way back as we were trying to warm our fingers back up.
Yeah.
Walking back to the car.
Yeah.
And then we failed to get barred out. It was it was a struggle. There's there's a spot at Baylor right next to the cattail marsh that we have on campus that I have seen barred owl in the day sitting out in the open several times.
Yeah.
And we walked through all of that forest, which in that trail that we walked, I have flushed barred owls during the day many times. I have heard them at night many times. We played tape. We walked through the forest. We shined everywhere. No luck. It was a struggle.
Yeah. Sometimes those ones you get often are the hardest ones.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about CBCs and big days and stuff. It's what surprises you even more than the rare stuff you might get is what you don't get.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, but
yeah. After that, we went to check the geese, and my heart jumped because there was a goose that was really, really hunched up and next to one of the biggest Canadas in the flock, and I couldn't see its head, and both of us were like, oh my God, is that a cackler?
yeah.
It wasn't a cackler. It was just false hope. But
Bummer.
we kind of struggled for waterfowl on the day, honestly. But, we had a decent amount of birds at Baylor, and then we paddled across to Williams Island, which was probably the highlight of the day. That was pretty fun.
Oh, great.
The biggest reason we went over there is because there's a pond there that allegedly has a lot of ducks in the winter. It had zero ducks.
No.
Yeah, but we got fox sparrow, which was really cool for Austin because it popped up. He was like, "Oh my God, it's a red," and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a red fox." But he's from Idaho and he doesn't ever see them,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was like he thought it was amazing to see a red fox sparrow.
Yeah, there's so much variation across their range and their phenotypes, but
Yeah, it's probably multiple species if I were to guess.
another one of those. But
Yeah, what is a species anyways? But we got fox sparrow. There were a lot of sparrows. For the day, in total, we got 188 white-throated sparrows, 25 Savannah sparrows, 8 fox sparrows, 30 field sparrows, only 1 chipping sparrow, which is kind of crazy. 7 orange-crowned warbler, which is good. Apparently they used to not
we didn't
be.
get any.
Yeah.
Like my group.
Oh, someone got one on the Reelfoot CBC. It looks like.
Yeah, and they were on the CBC, but my group didn't get one.
not your group. Word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we got a good amount of orange-crowned warblers, and then just lots of sparrows on Williams Island, which was sick. And then we had a merlin perch up in a tree real close, and we got to just sit there and watch it for like 15 minutes,
Wow.
which was pretty amazing. Merlins are these tiny, perpetually angry falcons that yet we normally, I feel like, see them either sitting way far away or just jetting over for half a second.
Yeah, they are truly like aircraft.
Yeah,
They're so
quick.
fast.
Yeah. That means actually in the past 3 days, I've seen all 3 falcons, because we had a peregrine falcon just going for ducks today.
That's cool.
So, yeah, we had...
Yeah, we did not have Merlin on the whole reelfoot one either.
Really?
Yeah.
We had 2 on the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great, man.
It wasn't like the best CBC that I've had at Baylor, but it wasn't bad by any means.
Mm-hmm.
We went and poached some ducks because we wanted to see ducks at Anna McCullough Marsh. And then I had promised him woodcock.
Did you end up getting it?
No. I was like, last year, it was immediate when we went to this spot.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not this year.
Dang.
But it's all good. It was a fun day, generally. So,
Yeah, that's great, man.
lots of birding. So, yeah.
Do you know the total number for y'all and for the whole group?
The entire Chattanooga CBC we won't know the total number until like 2 weeks from now, because love Kevin, but he's not very quick with this. And sometimes I forget to sit in list, but
Yeah.
it's always like
So do
long time.
y'all not meet up the day of?
I wish we did.
Yeah.
We were all talking about that, actually. We did a little lunch or a dinner after the fact. Me, Tim, Austin, and Lizzie and John dinner.
Mhm.
We went and grabbed some pizza and talked birds for a while, but
Nice.
there wasn't a group compilation. Something interesting, actually, that both Tim and Austin were pointing out, especially Austin through the day. He was like, wow, this is a small area to cover for a CBC. There's just so many people, I think, in Chattanooga that it makes it just a small area. And I don't think it's well organized also. But, like, there were groups with, like, 5 people in them.
Yeah. We had a couple of those as well.
And I don't know. Austin was saying it was really, really weird at the end of the day, at least for him, coming from the CBCs he did in Idaho. He said it was really weird for him to be waiting at the end of the day. Normally they were rushing in to the last spot because we were waiting for about 30 minutes for it to get dark for woodcock. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we actually ended ours a little bit prematurely. Like we counted everything as soon as it got dark together. We didn't like try again for owls or woodcocks once nightfall came.
Yeah, neither did we.
Yeah.
Well, we tried for woodcock, but we didn't try in the morning. So.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So some good birding.
Some good birding.
Did you do anything else this weekend?
Not really. I mean, honestly, the most fun birding was what I just did with Tim. We, going down there. We saw a lot of kestrels today. We saw like 15, 20.
Really?
Which is cool. But yeah, just seeing all those ducks again, lots and lots of gadwall, and we had something like 300 canvasback and stuff like that. That's
great.
Which is good for this area, but I'm sure you got a bunch of stuff in Reelfoot. So.
Well, we didn't have crazy duck numbers on our route at all. No. Some of the guys on different parts of the lake might have, but my territory is formerly known as the Avian Desert because there's almost never anything reported of substance out of that territory. But
your CBC, I know, was pretty incredible. So the Avian Desert, what avian life came out of the Avian Desert?
A lot more than this time last year, I can tell you that much. So Chris Agee and I were able to do the one last year with Alan Trentley, who's really big into butterflies and birds, so he's fun to be with. And then this year we took Josh Stevenson along with us, which is a Nashville birder.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a group of 4, and we mostly got nearly the entire east side of Reelfoot Lake, which is pretty cool, like really, really cool.
I thought it was, is that the Avian Desert, the east side?
Well, so the route that Chris Agee has had for a good minute now, a few years, has been the northeast side of the lake, and that's what, the southeast side of the lake, and that's what's been called the Avian Desert. But there have been some older folk doing the better northeastern side of the lake, and one of them moved on this year, and then the other one did not want to do it. So last year we got to fill in for them for the first time, and then this year we officially took over that portion of the territory. So a lot more familiar with the land this time, which made a huge difference.
I'm sure.
And honestly, what I think was the biggest difference was the conditions. So last year we were in just above freezing weather and steady 30 or 40 mile an hour winds.
That is not good conditions. Wow.
No, the wind last year just made it impossible to see anything on the water, because everything was tucked in and trying to stay warm, and we couldn't hear anything. It made it where scoping was hard because you couldn't keep anything still. It was just a mess. And it was really fun last year regardless, but with this year to compare it to, it's like, oh man, I really know what it should be like now.
Yeah.
So
Me and Tim were talking. We're like, wow, we were jealous of all the birds he got.
Yeah, really stark contrast in the last 2 years now. So the Reelfoot Christmas bird count is one of the oldest in the state, if not the oldest. I don't honestly know, but it's been going on for a real good amount of time, and it's around Reelfoot Lake, which is the exact opposite corner of Tennessee from Chattanooga.
Yeah, we're in the southeast Tennessee or corner of Tennessee right now. Reelfoot is in the northwest.
Right. So I drove up there and met up with all those guys, and at I think 5:20 we officially started our account, and the first bird of the day was a barred owl just sitting on a post. So immediately we were feeling good because last year we didn't even get a barred owl. Yeah,
let's go.
So I feel for you there, but
I wish.
But we had a little bit more of a gauge on where we should go at what times, having done the route prior now. So we went to Walnut Log Road, which is a little bit more of a wetland area with some agriculture fields, and we just want a woodcock. I mean, it's one of the best places in the CBC for woodcock is in that area, and we didn't get it last year, and it was a pretty big miss. So we posted up at a spot that we thought might be good. We got it, and we were just sitting there quiet listening for the woodcock flight calls. Heard it, and then we were just dead silent, and we hear, and just all of us just freeze, and then saw it owl. It caught all of us off guard.
Holy crap, dude. That's crazy.
I know. And there was no wind. We heard everything clear. All of us just immediately recognized it. I love Chris Agee, but his ears aren't the best. But he heard it right away, so he was like, man, I can't even hear, and I heard that sucker. So that was funny. But I mean, holy cow. And then
dude,
so
that's incredible.
Yeah, so we then,
is that a lifer for you too, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was a lifer. And for those that don't know, northern saw-whet owl is one that typically only comes down the Appalachian Mountains in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And it's year-round there. It's really hard still, but it's year-round. And we did mention this in the last episode, but we think that owls are more widespread than they're believed to be.
Yeah, and saw-whet owls have this pretty incredible migration. there's spots south of us where they ban them and they catch them.
Yep,
They're
in
just
Alabama.
never seen or almost never seen or heard during, like, unless you're banding. So they are here. They migrate down from boreal forests.
Yeah, they're just a super hard bird regardless.
Incredibly hard bird.
Turns out it was a first county record for O'Brien as well. It was the first northern saw-whet owl ever seen on the Reelfoot Christmas bird count, so that was freaking crazy. But we did playback, and it responded twice with single note calls. And then we went back later that night and tried to re-find it, but it was raining, so we did not relocate it. But I mean, we started the day, that was an hour before sunrise, and immediately just like, this is going to be good.
Yeah, that's an amazing start.
Yeah, all of our adrenaline was just pumping. That was so fun. I definitely did not expect my lifer saw-whet to come from West Tennessee, but
that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
We were just talking about last episode, I think, going up to the Smokies to get saw-whet.
We were. Yeah, no, that was not even on my radar. One was heard there last year about this time, but that was in Lake County, and it had never been seen or heard on the count. So that was nuts, and it was really cool to get to contribute something like that to the count. But yeah, we went on from there and did some birding that morning. We had a pretty good day in general. We had 82 species with our group, and the total tally on the day with every group was 121, which is the second highest in Reelfoot history. So
which is pretty incredible.
That was nuts. Super happy with how that all turned out. But
I know you had some other birds too.
Yeah, we did. We just kind of birded around that morning and got pretty much all of our expected species, which is hard. But
yeah, that's pretty incredible in itself to get all the expected.
Yeah, we had 72 by lunch, which was really nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and happy to get that much because it started raining about 2.
Yeah.
Which wasn't too detrimental, but it did kind of slow things down for sure. And we didn't miss field sparrow
for the day.
For the day.
Really?
That was by far our biggest miss because we were in habitat from morning to night, but we just didn't get them. They were not on the east side of the lake. Okay, so that morning we were at the visitor center, the Reelfoot Visitor Center, and there's a really big field in the back of that thing with pristine LeConte sparrow habitat. And that, I mean, for me, it's a lifer. It's one that, we weren't positive. We've never had that on our count. Other people obviously have had that. It's yearly, but it was a new one for us. And, I'd never seen one before. I don't really know exactly the habitat until this point, but
what's a LeConte sparrow, Patrick?
It's a beautiful little guy. It's a super secretive sparrow with a beautiful yellow crown stripe and mailer stripe, and the nape is gray with some very fine purple streaking, and they will crawl around under the grass like mice, and they'll pop up if you flush them and then go right back down and keep crawling around. So they're really hard to...
They're impossible to see. Yeah.
You really can only see them in flight for about 2 seconds. But we walked about 2 or 3 miles through this field, and we got to a little portion that was just perfect for them. And it had been previously burned. So there were these really young growth trees completely stripped of their leaves and kind of charred, which offered a perch for anything we were flushing, which was that doesn't really happen typically in areas that have viable habitat for LeContes.
What is viable habitat for LeContes? What's that look like?
So they like a couple of different kinds of grasses, but this was what Panicum, panic grass.
Yeah, panic grass.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not positive how to say it, and it's not a
Yeah.
big deal, but this was flattened down, dampened, and just ideal.
So they like it to be flattened a little bit?
It was really short. It was pushed down with just a few little strands sticking up still.
So like 6 inches high, something like that?
Yeah, just about that, and a damp bottom because it was pushed down. So
that is exactly what I was walking through earlier today, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, as soon as we saw it, it's like thought LeConte, and it's like, man, let's walk in a line, try and flush some stuff up. And as soon as we stepped foot in that habitat, 2 birds like jolted, and one of them perched up, and it was LeConte, and we like freaked out. And then so we just like kept trying to see them, and we ended up getting 5. But I bet you anything there were 50 in that field.
Really?
Yeah, it was a large piece of habitat, and I mean, those things are hard to flush up. So who knows what kind of numbers were there, but that was amazing, and my second lifer on the day. I honestly,
pretty incredible.
Yeah, honestly didn't think I was going to get that this year because I was not able to get into the refuges before they closed for the winter. So this was really my last chance because they really are only in some of those refuges. Not only, but primarily.
Yeah.
But going on from there, we got some lunch and
what was the lunch?
barbecue. We found a good barbecue place.
Ooh, that sounds amazing. That sounds really good.
Yeah,
right now.
It was very good. But we left there, and our territory involves a very small town, Sandburg there, and we were just kind of driving past a few little buildings, and we see this brown and yellow bird flying next to the car, and we slam on the brakes, and all of us, we realize it's not a meadowlark, and we're really confused, and we see it, and it's a freaking yellow-breasted chat. Which
what? What?
And all of us just like are so confused. This is a strictly summer bird in our area. First one ever seen on the Reelfoot CBC.
Yeah, I only know of one other winter record for the state.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Do you know what subspecies it was?
I have pictures of it that we can probably deem that with, but I don't know the subspecies.
It would be interesting to see if it was a western.
Yeah, it's possible. It was acting so weird. It landed up close in this tree, and then it flew into the bushes in front of this girl's house. Like, it was just right hanging out by her air conditioner.
That's wild.
And we just drove on. We got bored of it after a minute, but it's just wild, and really the last bird we expected. We have all these target species, and we get a chat. But so, 2 new lifers for me, and then 2 new Reelfoot CBC birds.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, just crazy.
And yellow-breasted chats are these like chunky, kind of awkward-looking skulkers.
They're considered New World warblers, but
not anymore.
Really?
They're in They're in their own
Icteridae.
They're in their own family. It's the same as blackbirds, except there's 2 eyes somewhere, just to make it confusing.
Icteridae.
Icteridae. But yeah, they're these like chunky, awkward skulkers. They're green or brown on top with this chunky weird bill.
It is kind of an olive, which I haven't honestly known, but it is more of a olive than straight brown.
Yeah,
which is interesting. But
and then a yellow breast, obviously, hence the name,
and a white belly and a white little eye ring. But
they love second growth areas here in the summer, and they're easy to find. They have these weird little songs. They mimic stuff in it, so they're a really cool bird. Not one you ever see in the winter, though. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, they sound like something out of Star Wars.
For sure.
Yeah, it's silly, but really, really crazy day, and we just were able to hit so many targets. We were so happy about it. But somebody else got 2 limpkins, which were also new Reelfoot CBC birds.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Where were they at? Were they continuing or?
I think somebody had a spot that they thought they might be at, but honestly, our whole territory, we were looking for them and expecting them because it was primarily wetland. So honestly, thought we were going to be the ones to get that, but luckily someone else did because we did not. So, 3, whenever we met up and counted everything, we had 3 new Reelfoot CBC birds and the second highest total. But Alan Troyer,
who just got back from Europe and is already killing it,
by
the way.
He was in Europe for 9 months. Sadly missed some good birds. He's been back for about a week and a half, if that, and he found a blackleg kittiwake in our backyard.
That both of us missed, right?
Yeah, somehow. And he found this bird I'm about to tell you about. So we are tallying up our total. Him and Victor Stoll were in a group together, and it was dusk. So he's telling this story. It was dusk, and he was about a mile into the woods on this trail at Keystone Pocket. And it's dark out. The sun is down. There's hardly any light out, and he's doing some playback just as a last ditch effort. Some screech owl playback to try and get a mob going, and he says an impid comes out of the understory.
Jeez.
And he obviously just like, oh my gosh, it's an impid. And he gets his bins on it for about 2 seconds. And he said there was a branch over the primary wing projection.
Oh, are you serious?
He couldn't get it. And
this is kind of crucial to know what's going on here. If you're not a birder, impids is this group of Impedonax flycatchers.
We talked about, like, maybe even in the last episode, how they're hard, man.
They are almost, like, some of them it's really hard to identify without a vocalization.
Some of them you can't. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, they all look nearly identical.
And there is some overlap on some of the species. So
yeah, and they are supposed to not be in the eastern U.S. right now. So whenever there's
if there's any impid reported anywhere over here, it's immediately rare. So
yeah, and like weird western vagrants are more likely than one of our more expected eastern species. So whenever you see one in the winter, it's like, oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, so he told us that his immediate impression based on like a 2-second view, he saw it was flitting its wings a lot, which is really good for Hammonds. So,
which would be a first state record.
It had a really bold eye ring, and it was flitting its wings like that. He couldn't see the wing projection. He thought it was between least flycatcher and Hammonds. Least would not be even a first for the Reelfoot CBC. But
really?
Yeah, somehow. But
that's surprising.
Yeah, but he thought it was a Hammonds, and so myself, Chris Agee, Josh Stevenson, the Stolls, Alan Troyer, and one of their friends from Belize that was on the CBC with them, we all went out to the spot that he saw it the night before, and it was honestly a best case scenario because it was raining when he saw it, and it was dark, so the odds of it staying put overnight were like good. So we were out there at sunrise, and we posted up in a line all the way down the trail, just looking for it to come out. And about 7-ish a.m., we hear somebody whistle down the trail, and then we all just start running towards it, and they have it. So what could not be seen in the low light was how yellow it was.
Yeah.
So it was a western flycatcher.
Which just got lumped. Yeah. It used to be Pacific Slope and Cordilleran, and now it's western flycatcher, based on good reasons.
And Pacific Slope has been seen in the state, but Cordilleran has not. So what we were all trying to figure out was which subspecies
it's not going to be resplit, though, so it doesn't really matter.
Who knows what they're going to do.
Have you looked at the papers?
No, but I doubt they'll resplit it, but it's always safe.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So we got it, and it was flitting around for us for a few minutes, and based on some vocalizations and little calls, that we decided it was Pacific Slope. subspecies of western flycatcher in case
Yeah.
it does split in the future. So,
Unlikely.
but that was a lifer for me and Alan Troyer.
It was a lifer for Alan?
Yeah, I could have heard him wrong, but that's what I was aware of. And if not, sorry, Alan. But yeah, it was a lifer for 3 of us there, and so that was awesome.
Sweet.
It's
I guess like a slight letdown for Alan because you thought it would be a first state record.
yeah,
Hammies.
yeah. It's honestly a slight letdown for a lot of those guys because they were really hoping it would be first state record, but it was not a letdown for me at all because it was a lifer. But beautiful little, tiny little impid. So that was just incredible and completely unexpected. But
Yeah.
because he saw it yesterday, he saw it Saturday, ID'd it Sunday, they can officially put it on the Reelfoot CBC as the Western Flycatcher. So there were 4 new Reelfoot CBCs.
That's
birds.
incredible.
Yeah, that's just, and honestly, like, not many northern birds pushing down. So, like, it was just some good stuff overall, and just
weird stuff.
yeah,
Chat.
weird stuff, not stuff holding over. Like
Western flycatcher.
we didn't
Limpkin
have,
makes sense.
Yeah, Limpkin was expected and really hoped for, but the other stuff, not so much. But Saltwood Owl was probably going to happen here sooner or later, but it was awesome to be the people to make that happen.
Yeah.
You know,
And you weren't even trying for it, which
No.
is crazy to me because
We-
all the stories I hear, I think, are usually
people doing calls,
Playback.
playback, and honestly, it was a best case scenario because it gave us the toot calls instead of the scream or even the fluttering, the like little flitty call, which is hard to describe, but it's like a little songbird. But the screech owl also does that, and then the barred owl does a call, like a scream call, really similar. So we didn't get a recording. So if we didn't have a recording and we were just going based off one of those 2 things, it would have been really hard to believe.
Yeah.
But the toot calls are unmistakable and the only thing like it. So, it was fantastic. So exciting. But so like continuing on birding on Sunday, like we had a bunch of targets that around Lake County, around Reelfoot that we just were wanting to hit. And we got western meadowlark, which frequents West Tennessee pretty often, but they can be pretty difficult to pick out.
Was that a lifer for you too?
It was a lifer. I thought I had seen them in Hawaii, but I looked back at my list and they were not there. So that was a lifer for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So 4 lifers now. And
Soon to be 5.
and yeah, so we kept going, and rough-legged hawk had been seen for about a week there. 2 of them were found. And then a 3rd one was found during the CBC. So there's
Really? Where was the 3rd one found? Chris Sloan, right?
Yeah, Chris Sloan and his group had that one, and they said it was a light morph. They said the head was so white they weren't even sure what it was. But so yeah, 3 different individuals there, and we got to see one of those, and that was also a lifer. So 5 lifers.
Yeah,
And-
rough-legged hawk. It's a northern hawk. Like
Yeah. And that spot, it's at Jolly Landing at Reelfoot, and they've had them almost yearly, but sometimes they're only one-day wonders and stuff. So it was really great to get to see that guy. I got a couple pictures of him, but northern saw-whet owl, LeConte sparrow, western meadowlark, western flycatcher, and rough-legged hawk were my 5 lifers.
That's incredible,
Yeah.
dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I was honestly only expecting rough-legged hawk and hopefully western meadowlark, but I didn't even know that was a lifer. So
Yeah.
we
We were texting about it, and
yeah.
it was like he hadn't gotten the rough-legged hawk, and he had already had lifers, and I was like, that was the thing that we talked
I
about,
know. I know. Oh, and the only other target I really had was Brewer's blackbird, because I still need that as a lifer as well. But we didn't get that. We had no blackbirds the entire day.
Really?
The only blackbirds we had were like at dusk, and we had like 500 red-winged blackbirds coming to a roost in these cattails. And then I think there were some cowbirds mixed in, but man, we had no blackbirds on that whole side of the lake. And we didn't get any whenever we just went around Lake County. So
That's crazy.
yeah, they had them on the count, but we could not find them. So
Man, Now we got to find one around here.
Yeah, I know, and that's not one that's impossible at all for here. It's just a matter of really picking through some rusty blackbirds. But
Speaking of,
I saw that like somebody had them down here.
well, it wasn't legit.
Oh, really?
After looking at the pictures, it got changed to rusty blackbird
Oh, bummer.
on eBird. But we had a big group of maybe 500 to 1,000 red-winged blackbirds with some rusties mixed in, and it was just at dawn, and it wasn't light enough to see details, but we had a super, super gray, rusty type blackbird, and we couldn't see the eyes
Oh, man.
and like any really identifying features, but it was a good chance it was a Brewers, which that would have been
Man,
sick.
Yeah, that would have been great.
But
yeah, so West Tennessee is typically one of the better places in the state to get Brewers.
I think I've
and-
seen a list with over 1,000 Brewers from there.
Yeah, well, so scattered throughout the state, you can get 1 or 2 or 3 mixed in to flocks of rusty blackbirds, but in West Tennessee, sometimes you'll get a flock of 40 or 50 or something crazy like what Luke is referencing. But yeah, no luck for us in that department this weekend, and
We'll find one.
yeah, it'll happen here soon. But I broke the 400 mark on my lifers.
Let's
so,
go.
Yeah,
Hell
that was something I was really wanting to do before the end of the year, and
Congrats, man.
I got broke it sooner than I necessarily expected.
Just found this Brewers blackbird high count for the state. 3,500. Holy
Wow.
cow.
And that's by Mark Green, so it's right.
Yeah. We encountered a decent-sized flock of blackbirds feeding and bathing in a cattle feedlot. We pulled over to see if we could find Brewers blackbird and realized that they were almost all Brewers blackbirds.
Wow, that's incredible. And that was on a CBC.
Apparently the second highest count U.S.-wide for a Christmas bird count.
Wow. Holy cow.
That's incredible.
But yeah, some really good birds, and really, really happy with how everything went. Man, it makes me not ever want to bird anywhere else than West Tennessee. But
I need to go out there. I have family in town, so I can't drop everything and make a trip. But
yeah, the Western flycatcher was seen again this morning. So
I actually dipped on the one that was in the state earlier.
Oh, really?
We drove up there and then we're looking, and it got dark. We couldn't see it, and I couldn't make another trip up there because of school. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was not chasing at that time, so I didn't even know about that one. But
yeah,
a few people did miss him.
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, so a whole lot of great birding, and just really happy with how everything went.
Yeah, I forgot probably the best bird that we got for the count. We got 5 marsh wrens on
Oh,
Baylor
yeah.
Lake,
And
which
that's great. I think we only had 1 at the Reelfoot CBC.
yeah,
Chris Sloan, but
and that's a pretty high number for the state in winter. There's places where you'll get great numbers in migration, but winter, I know Alan Troyer had 17 at some marsh.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But
He goes places that other people just don't, and he
Ye-
gets the birds.
yeah,
He goes a mile into the woods while it's pouring rain and dark, and he gets a Western flycatcher.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he found the curlew sandpiper last fall out at Duck River Unit. So that was an incredible bird.
Yeah, that was insane.
Man, I wish I had gotten to see that guy.
I wish, yeah, me too. I mean, I saw a checklist, I think, that had curlew, sandpiper, whimbrel, and marbled godwit on it.
What?
I think it's a Ruben Stoll checklist.
I would not doubt it. Goodness gracious.
We can also find this one super quick. Yeah, I remember seeing that and just being in awe. And that month of September, 30 species of shorebirds were seen at the Duck River Unit. So
30 species. Wow.
yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, went to the edge of. I haven't actually checked for marsh wrens since migration, so I wasn't sure if we were gonna get any.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to the edge of the lake where we had been seeing them, where we got that one with Tim.
Right.
And yeah, we were actually trying for Cedron. So we were playing Cedron tape to see if we could get one. We did not get Cedron, but turned around. I was about to say, oh, we should try for marsh wren, and turned around, or Austin turned around and he was like, I think there's one right here. And first off, we thought it was just one, and then we heard a call off in the reeds, and then there were 10, or not 10, that would be crazy. There were 4
Jeez.
right in front of us. I don't know where 10 came from.
5 on the day?
5 on the day.
Wow.
And there were 4 right in front of us, including one that got within 5 feet out in the open, which was pretty incredible.
Yeah, Baylor is definitely one of the best places for marsh wren.
In the county, at least.
In the county.
Yeah, here it is. Wimbrel, marbled godwit, curlew sandpiper, Baird sandpiper, just thrown in that. Roseate spoonbill, 7 of them, just for fun on a list. We got audio of the godwit. That's incredible.
All of those are hard.
Wimbrel, very hard in the state. Marbled godwit,
very hard in the state.
Annual, but hard. Curlew sandpiper,
impossible.
2 or 3 state records, I think.
Yeah.
Just absolutely incredible bird. Yeah. Alan Schroyer did a big year in Humphreys.
Yeah, he broke the record, right?
Yeah, he did a Humphreys County big year.
He had like 286 or something crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what he got. He got 274.
Jeez.
He went until that last day. He got a bird on December 31st, Western Meadowlark.
Wow.
But I mean,
that's got to be one of the highest county totals in the state for 1 year.
I think it probably is the highest county total.
Man, holy cow.
Because, yeah, I mean, he killed it that year.
And he's a younger guy. He's mid-20s, so that's, man, inspirational.
Yeah, that's what a crazy year. One of my favorite stories from that year, he was going to chase a redneck grebe for his county list, and he was just speeding 60 miles per hour along on this country road, and a bird flew across the road, and he was like, "Oh, that's a weird bluebird. It's a Townsend solitaire."
A Townsend solitaire.
Which was the first chase or second chaseable Townsend solitaire, which is this mountainous western bird.
Yeah.
Found it. It was incredible.
Man.
While driving at 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, he got it while driving. Yeah, so a whole bunch of people got to see that, and I sadly did not get a chance to break away and get up there for that. But, man, some good birds we got here in Tennessee.
Some good birds.
Yeah, some good birds and some good birders. Well, yeah, we will probably be wrapping it up here. This is great talking about our weekend and the CBC luck.
For sure.
We will see you guys on the next one.